What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. During the last part, we saw Frieza's arrival, and instead of the Namek arc, we're going to do something very different. Frieza eventually did show up on Earth, but luckily, the group knew this would happen, and they were partially prepared, but not fully. Frieza eventually did show off his full power, and it seemed like it would be too much for everyone to handle. If you haven't checked out the last part, I heavily recommend it because it's going to explain a lot of the things in this part. For this video, let's set a like goal of 3,500 likes. Once we hit that, I'll continue with another part of this series. Anyways, let's pick up from here. Frieza looks on in horror, as everyone else looks on in amazement, especially Vegeta. Super Saiyans, they actually exist, and it's not just a person being a Super Saiyan. There's two Super Saiyans. It's a transformation, not some inheritance or legend. But something's different about this. Of course, this is the first time they're seeing Super Saiyan, so no one actually knows that there's something wrong. But as for Goku and Gohan, they're not just normal Super Saiyans. They did transform out of anger, but this is a different type of anger. And they are in the normal Super Saiyan form, but their anger is consuming them. They've gone partially berserk. They immediately begin attacking Frieza, blinded by their rage, and Beerus immediately recognizes there's something wrong. They still seem to be attacking consciously, which is good. It's not like they've gone fully berserk, but they're being blinded by their anger, and this needs to stop. This could have disastrous consequences. It could cause them to screw up against Frieza, or worse. Beerus can especially recognize this problem, having experience with using power from rage itself. He joins the fight with them, and the two are surprised, telling Beerus to get away. But Beerus tries talking with them. They need to calm down. They are strong, but their power, they're letting it consume them. The anger that they're feeling is too much. This rage is a blessing and a curse. It gives them power, which is the blessing in it, but it's a curse because they can't control it. Beerus gets knocked away by Frieza, but tries to jump back in and stop them. That power that they have, they need to control it and channel it. He says he's not going to stop them from killing Frieza. That's not what he's doing. He's just trying to help them. Use that power, channel it into their fight, but don't let it overtake them. Don't be consumed by it. The two of them are starting to calm down a bit, seeing what Beerus is saying. They're right. Even though what they just saw enrages them, they can't let it overtake them. They need to focus on the mission. They can't waste time trying to make Frieza suffer or whatever. They need to aim to actually defeat him. The two start fighting normally again, trying to also get a hold of this power that they have. Frieza ends up having to use 100% of his power too. But even then, this still doesn't seem like it's enough. What's happening? I mean, he's always feared a Super Saiyan, and he knew it would probably be strong if it showed up, but not like this. This is something else. All the other survivors on the ground continue watching, and Vegeta's confident. They could do this. Beerus stays in the fight. Although he isn't as strong as the Super Saiyans, he is still very strong and one of the strongest fighters. He won't be getting in the way by helping. He powers up again, using Kaioken and his rage. He's feeling just as enraged as they are. This is just as personal for him as them. And it's not just the deaths of the people around him, no. It's Frieza himself being there. This guy that caused so much pain and destruction for him. The reason Beerus' life went the way it did, and indirectly causing the rift between him and Champa. Every bad thing in his life, it's from Frieza. And he feels rage too. And it empowers him, but in a different way than he'd expect. While he's in his rage mode and using Kaioken, something strange happens. He wants to make an attack as powerful as possible, something that'll deal as much damage to Frieza as he could possibly deal. And in this attempt, he tries to create a spirit bomb. Of course, he knows he probably won't be able to do it. His heart isn't pure, and his rage is preventing him from this. But he still tries it anyways. He wants to do something. He wants to help defeat Frieza. He begins channeling energy, but in a different way from his spirit bomb. Above his head, he begins charging a condensed attack. His power changes, and he's not sure why or what this is. It's almost like all the rage he's feeling is being channeled into one attack. He watches as the two Super Saiyans fight on, and then looks up at the attack he charged. There's a small condensed ball of energy. He can tell it's strong despite its size. And he's never seen anything like this before. It's almost like it was created out of pure malice. It's an odd ball of energy with a darkish purple color. All his rage and power channeled into this produced a really odd attack, and the energy emanating off of it, it's different than normal. He feels empowered too. Not like he transformed, but something changed with his rage mode. If that's what that even is, he has no idea of what it truly is. As the two Super Saiyans continue fighting Frieza, Beerus lunges between the two of them, with an arm outstretched in this attack in front of him. He doesn't know what this power is, but he's not going to waste it. It feels almost destructive. Goku and Gohan see what's happening, and they decide to help too. As Beerus lands this attack, the two of them see it as an opening, launching a full power father-son Kamehameha, not only damaging Frieza with this attack, but also empowering Beerus' assault as well. The energy of the Kamehamehas are absorbed into this attack. It expands out and then shrinks inwards, then exploding with amazing force. That was it. That was the finishing blow. Frieza is killed in an explosive way, and only dust is left behind. Everyone is just feeling a really weird mix of emotions and thoughts right now. Not only did Goku and Gohan access a new power, but it seems Beerus unlocked something as well, or at least got his first taste of it. He still doesn't know what it is. But just as Goku and Gohan were pushed to the brink and broke their limits as Saiyans, Beerus seemed to do so as well. Following the aftermath of this fight, thankfully all the people could be revived. Chi-Chi, Yamcha, and Tenshinhan were the ones who died, and since this is the first time they died, they could actually be revived pretty easily, as well as anyone else killed by Frieza's army. Thankfully, a crisis was averted, But everyone is left with a different goal after this. As for Goku and Gohan, they want to hone this power again. They're glad to have Chi-Chi back, and immediately they want to train with her, showing her what happened. Vegeta also wants to unlock this power as well. He too needs to become a Super Saiyan, immediately beginning to compete with Goku and Gohan. And as for Beerus, he wants to figure out what he just did. That destructive power he felt. Could it be something exclusive to his race, or is it something he just got on accident? Some technique that he created. He's always known that his race probably had some mysterious powers related to this. I mean, ever since he first used his rage mode, he knew he had something unique to him. But this thing that he just used, he doesn't know what it is or how it happened. And he wants to find out more about this. And there's really only one way to do that. There's only one other person that would know stuff about their race. One person that might have info for him, but he's still not too sure. It could be a long shot, but there's someone he wants to consult and someone that he's wanted to consult for a while. Champa. He needs to find him. He needs to break him free. This is what he wanted to do anyways, but also for his own benefit. Champa has information for him. Besides the fact that this is his brother and it's the right thing to do, and the fact that he wanted to do it eventually, he has even more reason to go find him now. Before, everyone thought that this wouldn't be possible, but now with how strong everyone is, maybe Beerus could actually do this. He doesn't actually want to just attack the Galactic Patrol and kill everyone there. That's not what he's trying to do. He just wants to be fast enough and strong enough to counter them, just to free his brother. His brother shouldn't be there, locked up with all those other criminals. Champa doesn't deserve it, especially because it's Beerus' fault. He still laments on the past. He needs to make this right. As everyone continues their training on Earth, Beerus says he'll return soon. He's going to make a brief trip out into space. Well, hopefully it's brief. He doesn't know how long it's actually going to take. But doesn't he need a spaceship? Well, not actually. We're going to introduce something kind of silly here, but hey, since it's Beerus, I guess we can make it work. Beerus could survive out in space. That's how he got here in the first place, and with how fast he is now, space travel just by flying would be a lot easier than actually taking a ship. He covers himself in a weird aura. It's almost like an atmosphere for himself. He says he'll return soon, and he then flies out into space. Some time passes. This travel does take a bit of time, and Beerus does get pretty hungry along the way, knowing how big his appetite is and all. But he was able to snag a senzu bean for himself, and even for someone with an appetite like his, this fills him up. But still, he's only going to have limited time in space without a ship. Maybe this wasn't the best idea, but he doesn't plan on staying here long anyways. A few days pass, and eventually he finds the Galactic Patrol prison, and he can definitely sense a bunch of people inside. Not just prisoners, but guards, actual Galactic Patrolmen, and they're pretty strong. Sure, a good chunk are weak, but there are some powerful opponents. Maybe not at the strength of Frieza, definitely not, but there are some concerning powers in there. Not to mention, Beerus isn't trying to kill them. At worst, he's going to temporarily incapacitate some of them. He's just trying to break out his brother. Beerus enters on an empty part of the headquarters, finding an airlock and prying it open himself. He tries to do this stealthily, basically becoming full-on Solid Snake. Two Galactic Patrolmen on the ship eventually find an intruder. One is Jocko. His amazing eyesight can pick up on something that wasn't there before. It's very slight, but he sees a footprint. The other one is able to sense something, or someone. It's one of the top Galactic Patrolmen, and the two of them decide to seek out this guy that's on the ship. Beerus is getting more and more through the facility, but then two people appear in front of him with guns drawn. It's Jocko, and another guy beside him, a patrolman named Mayra. Beerus could tell, these two seem pretty strong. Well, Jocko doesn't seem too strong in comparison to the other one, but given how great Galactic Patrol tech is, they definitely could be trouble regardless of power. Beerus also has to keep damage to a minimum, so he doesn't rely on Ki Blast either. He rushes towards them and they start shooting him, but he dodges all the blasts effortlessly. He's able to quickly knock Jocko away, but the other one begins fighting him with impressive combat skills. What's up with this guy? He actually seems pretty powerful, but Beerus needs to make this quick. As fast as he can, he activates Kaioken at a low level, hitting Beerus with an attack that briefly stuns him. Now that Beerus has been spotted, he actually can make this a lot faster and he's going to need to. He quickly makes his way through the facility, and he can sense that familiar power. It's Champa. He makes it to one of the cells, looking inside and seeing his brother. He's been heavily restrained. Champa is pretty strong as well, and he's only been getting stronger with his training, and Beerus could definitely tell. Looking through a heavily armored window, he then makes out a silhouette of his brother. He powers up, sticking a hand right through the door, ripping it clean off. It's strange. It seems like the tech inside of these cells dampens people's power somehow, making it so they can't escape from the inside. But from the outside, it's a different story. The inside of the cell has very heavy gravity too. Now he sees why he couldn't escape. As he makes it towards the back of the cell, he's suddenly attacked. Champa steps out of the shadows. He can't believe what he's seeing. Angered, he turns towards the wall behind him, and now that he has his full power back, he launches a massive blast that sucks them both out into space. The Galactic Patrol is able to close this breach, seeing that two of these people have now escaped. The intruder and the prisoner are now gone, and it's pretty clear who that intruder was. It was another wanted criminal, Beerus. It was pretty obvious to tell just by how he looked. Not to mention, the person he freed. The two brothers are now out in space, and Beerus tries talking to Champa, but is immediately punched right in the face. After all these years, he finally has a chance to give Beerus payback. Immediately he lunges at Beerus, and the two begin clashing in space. Beerus wants to calm him down. He did free him for a reason after all, and he's always wanted to do this. Champa doesn't believe it. He only freed him because he wants something, doesn't he? Otherwise he would have done this before. But Beerus tells him, look around where he was. He needed to be strong to break into that facility and break Champa out of it. It's not something any normal person could do. I mean, just look at Champa himself. He has great strength, but with their tech and how well everything is guarded, he couldn't break out. Champa still doesn't care. Beerus did this to him. Beerus caused him to get locked away. He abandoned his brother, but Beerus tells him to stop it. He needs to calm down. They could talk this out. He tells Champa he did come to free him after all. He should be thankful. Thankful? Beerus put him here in the first place. Champa is incredibly angered seeing his brother again, but as the fight continues, he can tell he won't be able to beat Beerus. Beerus tries to restrain him and calm him down more. He needs to explain everything and ask Champa about this power that he has, but now's not the time. That'll just piss Champa off even more. He didn't even consider this. And at first, it seems like he actually does calm Champa down, so he lets him go. But quickly he launches a blast at Beerus, using it as a distraction. The blast clears and Beerus isn't injured at all, but he looks around. He can't see Champa anywhere, and his power is suppressed. They're in the void of space after all. It's hard to locate him. Champa flies off into space, going somewhere completely different, with no actual goal of where he wants to end up. Beerus tries to chase after him and tries to seek him out, but nothing works. It's too late already. His brother is free, but too free. What is he supposed to do now? He probably should have gone about this differently. But this seems to be the only way. It would have been better if he explained everything to Champa first before he broke him out, but he needed to make this quick so he didn't have that opportunity. And now he can't find his brother. Before he actually knew where he was, but now he doesn't. And now there's also another issue. Beerus looks behind him and sees galactic patrol ships coming towards him. Even if Champa's gone, they can still try to apprehend Beerus. But thankfully Beerus is in his element. He's out in space and is a lot more maneuverable than a spaceship. They're fast, but they're not as fast as him. He powers up into Hakaishin, flying away quick. Damn. Now he's wanted and they're definitely going to do everything they can to track him down. He's always been wanted, but now that he broke someone out, he's a much higher priority. He shouldn't go back to Earth. He doesn't want the Galactic Patrol to know his home world. He needs to lay low for a while. He needs to find somewhere else to go for a bit. And thankfully this isn't too hard. As a thief involved in many getaways before, he can make this work. This is how he ended up on Earth anyways, except that became his permanent home. He's able to escape them and just needs to find a planet to stay on for the time being. Back at the patrol, everyone's at their wits' end, especially Beerus. He and Jaco have no idea what to do. Just for clarification, yes, this is Beerus, but he's not an angel. Remember how I said we'd introduce other godly figures from Super, but just as mortals? Yeah, he's gonna be one of them. In this alternate universe scenario, Beerus and Champa aren't the only ones that got mortalized. I don't really know a word for this. Turn into mortals, there. Beerus and Jaco need support, especially with criminals like this. They could be big threats, not just the Galactic Patrol, but to peace in the universe. Of course, they don't know that Beerus is actually a good guy, but what he did is wrong and they're not even going to consider that he might be one. But Beerus knows just who to contact. He needs to train more, and get some help from someone close to him, or two people close to him, his older siblings. They're not affiliated with the Patrol, but maybe they could help their younger brother. They did train him before. He is strong, but he's learned it from his older brother and sister. Will he be able to even contact them though? And who are they? And will they even help? Beerus goes back to the ship getting ready to contact them. Meanwhile, Beerus ends up on a strange planet to lay low on. He's gonna have to stay here for a bit. And it seems to be a pretty strange place. Thankfully, the people there are very welcoming of him, and Beerus makes it clear that he's here in a peaceful manner. He asks what planet this is and they tell him it's a planet called Metamor. He wonders if maybe Champa ended up here too. Champa did end up somewhere else, but we'll be seeing that later on. Let's go back to Earth for a bit. While Beerus was gone, some strange things happened. Well, it isn't really strange, but for one, Vegeta was able to access Super Saiyan for himself, which is great. A good amount of time has passed since the fight with Frieza, and finally Vegeta has gotten this. Of course, Beerus isn't going to know though because this is the one time that he's actually away from Earth. As for Goku and Gohan, they already have a better access to this form, able to transform into it at will, and able to control it much better than before. This is really going to help with their training, and even though they'd love to train with Beerus, Vegeta is now going to be a really good partner in place of him, because he has a power similar to theirs and can train at high levels like them. But one day, an odd person shows up. It turns out, they're not the only Super Saiyans in this universe. It's a teenage boy with purple hair. They don't know who he is, why he's here, or how he got here, but something's wrong. Since I want to keep most focus on this timeline, in this scenario, Trunks' future is going to stay the same. I don't want to spend a bunch of time covering what happened there with all these new characters involved too, because that's going to take away some focus from this story. But even though his timeline is going to be the same as it was in the original story, this will have some pretty interesting effects later on because of obvious reasons. But for now, it's not really going to affect too much. Trunks quickly begins to realize his time machine wasn't a time machine that took him back in time. No, it took him to a completely separate timeline. And little does he know, things here are way different than he expected. Of course, there's no Frieza here, and Gohan's already a Super Saiyan as well as Vegeta, so he can tell something's really wrong. But still, he has to keep his identity secret. Maybe there's still a chance he's born here, and maybe the androids are still in development, although they're probably going to be a lot different than the ones that he fought. But he already made this journey, so he might as well try and fix this. Even if this doesn't help his timeline, hey, he could at least help this one, warning Goku about the heart virus and telling everyone else about the androids. But still, This is unsettling for him, and he hears about how different the encounter with Frieza was. There's also some guy named Beerus here who he's never heard of before. Of course, he's not on the planet right now, but he's never heard Bulma tell him about this. And as far as he knows, Gohan didn't have Super Saiyan until way after the android showed up. But here, he already has it as a kid. He unlocked it against Frieza. With all of this different stuff so far, he wonders what else is different in this timeline, compared to his especially. Little does he know, the scope of this goes way beyond what he expects. But for now, we'll be leaving off here. So, what did you guys think about this part? What's going to happen with Beerus? And where did Champa end up? And what's going to happen with him too? Leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. I'll be sure to take them out to see what you guys think. As always, if you liked the video, be sure to drop a like. And let's try hit that like goal from the beginning of the video so we can get another part to this series. If you haven't already, want to subscribe. As well as clicking the bell icon to be notified about any future uploads on my channel, including more parts of the series or any videos like this one. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.